Hello everyone, how are you all? Children, in today's video we'll be touching a new topic, and that topic is verbs. Okay, now you see on the blackboard I have written few sentences. Let's go through these sentences first. Okay, the first sentence is Rita cooks well. Okay, second one, we enjoyed a lot in the party. Third one, Suhail is painting. Fourth one, Meera wrote a letter for her grandmother. Okay. Now in all these sentences, one by one, now we'll go through them once again. Okay. The first one is Rita cooks well. What is Rita good at? She cooks well. So in this sentence, what action is being talked about? Cooking. So here, what is the action? What does Rita do? She cooks well. Okay. In the second one, we enjoyed a lot in the party. We went to a party. What did we do there? We enjoyed a lot. Okay. Third one, Suhail is painting. What is Suhail doing? Suhail is painting. He is painting a picture. That is the work that he is doing. And last one, Meera wrote a letter for her grandmother. What did Rita do? Sorry, what did Meera do? Meera wrote a letter for her grandmother. So what was the thing that she did? She wrote a letter. So these underlined words, cooks, enjoyed, painting, wrote. These are telling you what a person has done, what the subject in each sentence has done. They are telling you the work or the action done by these subjects. So these words, the words which tell you what the subject is doing or what the subject has done are called verbs. Okay? In other words, verbs are action words. Verbs are work that is done by a subject or a work that the subject is doing while talking or while speaking about. Okay, now comes the kinds of verbs. Okay, now in general there are four kinds of verbs. First one is transitive verbs, then is intransitive verbs, auxiliary verbs which are also called helping verbs, and phrasal verbs. Okay, and we'll be doing each kind of verb one by one. So let's begin with the first verb, that is the transitive verbs. Okay, so the first kind of verb is transitive verbs. Okay, now first read these three sentences. The first sentence, the boy filled a bucket with water. Okay, second one, we grow roses in our garden. And third, the boy flew kites. Okay, now what are the verbs which are used in these sentences? First, we will underline them. Okay. In the first sentence, what action was done? What did the boy do? The boy filled. Okay. Next one, what did we do? We grow. And the third one, what did the boy do? The boy flew. Just concentrate on these words. Why I have not read the complete sentence, I'll tell you why. Now when we say the boy filled, don't read the remaining part. If we say the boy filled, it sounds very incomplete. So obviously we have to ask, what did the boy fill? Did the boy fill a juice in a jar, or did the boy fill a bottle in a water in a bottle, or what did the boy do? So we say the boy filled, then we have to ask the boy filled what? The question word comes, what? The boy filled what? What did the boy fill? So the remaining part is the boy filled a bucket with water. Okay. So here filled is a transitive word. Why? Because we have to ask a question. What did the boy fill? In order to make a complete sentence, we have to add an object to this word. And that object is a bucket. Okay. So this is the object. Okay. So here filled is a transitive verb. Why? Because this verb needs an object to make a complete sense. Similarly, we grow. If we say we grow, we grow what? We grow vegetables, we grow crops, we grow what? So when a verb requires an object to complete its sense, those verbs are called transitive verbs, or those verbs can come under transitive verbs. So if we say we grow, then obviously some person will say, what do you grow? What? That question word is what? We grow roses. So this roses is the object. It is required. If we will not write this, we grow in a garden. People will say, what do you grow in your garden? So we have to give an object to the verb to make it sound, you can say, meaningful. Next one, the boy flew. The boy flew. The boy flew what? So here the object that the boy flew was the kites. Okay. So such verbs which require an object to make a meaningful sentence, those kinds of verbs come under transitive verbs. Filled required an object bucket. Roses required, grow required the object roses, and flew required the object kites. So when a verb is followed by an object, those kinds of verbs come under transitive verbs. They are called transitive verbs. The second kind of verb is intransitive verbs. Now, intransitive is opposite of what transitive verbs were. Now, remember, in transitive verbs, a verb requires an object to make its sense complete. Whereas, in intransitive verb, it does not require any kind of object. When we are identifying a verb to be a transitive or an intransitive verb, the thing that we have to keep in mind is that if we are reading a verb and in order to complete the sense of that verb, are we asking the question what? If we are asking the question what, then the word comes under transitive verbs. But in intransitive verbs, we do not have to ask the question of what. We do not need to use that question word what. Let's see a few examples. First one, Monica dances well. What is the verb here? Dances. Okay. Now when we say Monica dances well, we do not ask question what Monica dances well. Do we? No. Similarly, second word, the dog looks ferocious. What is the verb here? Looks. Okay. Yes, we can ask how does the dog look? Then we say the dog looks ferocious. Okay, but we're not asking what does the dog look. Similarly, the third sentence, the ship sank in the sea. Now in this sentence, we're not asking the ship sank what? We can say where did the ship sink? So the answer will be the ship sank in the sea. But if we'll simply say the ship sank, that also is making a complete sentence. So here these words, dances, looks, sank, they do not require an object, or they are not followed by any object in the sentence. So these kinds of verbs are called intransitive verbs. Transitive verbs require a verb. There is an object, transitive verb, intransitive verb, the verb is followed by an object. Okay, whereas in intransitive verb, the verb is not followed by an object. So that is the main difference between a transitive verb and an intransitive verb. Okay. Now the third kind of verb is called an auxiliary verb. Okay. Now auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs. Okay. Now just read these examples. Rahul is eating his breakfast. Okay. So what is the auxiliary verb here? Is. Okay. Next, they were happy. What is the auxiliary verb here or a helping verb here? Were. Next, you may come in. What is the auxiliary verb here? May. And last one, he has applied for a job. So what is the helping verb here? Has. Okay. Always remember, auxiliary verb and helping verbs are one and the same thing. Generally we use helping verbs, the word helping verb, but exact term to be used is auxiliary verbs, and these auxiliary verbs are used to tell you when the action took place. For example, when we say Rahul is eating his breakfast, when we are saying this word, this sentence, that means at the time of speaking, when I say Rahul is eating his breakfast, that means when I'm telling you about Rahul, at that very moment he is in the process of eating his breakfast. He is still having his breakfast. So that shows the present tense. Okay, present continuous tense. Next one is they were happy. Now, happy, they were happy shows you the state of their feeling or the state of the mind. How were they? They were happy. And here were is the linking verb, which is telling you that you are telling about somebody, you met somebody in the past and you are talking about a past incident, that they were happy. If you say they are happy, again are is also helping verb. If you say they are happy, that means you are talking about the present tense, your present time. If you say they were happy, that means you are talking about the past time. Similarly, you may come in here. May is the helping verb here. Okay. And the last one is he has applied for a job. Here has is also a helping verb, which is telling you the tense of the word that is applied. Applied is the actual, you can say the main verb here. Applied, come, eating. These are the main verb. Okay. M.V. MV stands for main verb. Here, this is also main verb. And here, applied is also main verb. Okay. So when we have to tell you when that main action has taken place, whether it is taking place at the exact moment, at the present moment, whether it will take place in the future time, or whether it has already taken place in the past time. Okay, so for those words which we use are called auxiliary verbs. Verbs which tell you the tense, the exact time, not the exact time. It gives you an idea whether it was in the present time or in the past time, or it will be in the future time. So those verbs are called helping verbs. Always remember, auxiliary verbs are used to form the tense of the verb. Transitive verbs require an object. It is followed by an object. Intransitive verb does not require an object to make its meaning complete, and auxiliary verbs are used to form the tense of the sentence. If we read these sentences, we can tell, or we can know we are talking about which tense. Okay, it is telling about the present tense or the past tense or about the future tense. Okay. Okay, the fourth kind of verb are phrasal verbs. Okay, now I have written 3 sentences on the blackboard. After reading these 3 sentences, I'll be underlining few words and then I'll tell you what it means. Okay, first one is we got late as our car broke down. Okay, so in this sentence I'm underlining 2 words, broke and down. Okay. Second one, I can look after myself. Now in this sentence, I'll be underlining 2 words, look and after. Okay. And the third one, the teacher told the student to speak up. Here I'll be underlining the word speak and up. Okay. Now, if you see these pair of words, in each pair of words there is one verb. What is that one verb? Here broke is the verb, right? And here look is the verb, and here speak is the verb. But these verbs are followed by another word which can be either a prepositional word or an adverb. Okay, so these kinds of verbs which are made up of 2 words. One is verb form, and another word can be, the second part of the verb can be a preposition or an adverb. So these kinds of verbs are called phrasal verbs. Broke down. When we're saying broke down, it means it is not working properly, or there was some kind of malfunction. Like we got late as our car broke down. That means we got late because there was some sort of malfunction in our car and it was not working properly. So we could not travel any further in that car. As a result, we came late. Second one, I can look after myself. Now look, if you say look means to look at, and after means later. But when you are using both these words together, look after does not mean later and then look later. It doesn't mean that. It actually means to take care of. For example, if I say I can look after myself, here look after means that I can take care of myself. The words are giving you a different meaning than what they actually mean individually. Look means to look at something, to see something. After means to come something which happens at a later stage. Similarly, broke means to break something, and down means down. Okay, but when we are joining these two words, when we are using these two words as a verb, as phrasal verbs, they are giving us an entirely different meaning. Okay, next word is the teacher told the student to speak up. Speak is to talk, and up in other words is up, direction. But when we are saying speak up means be a little loud, to raise the volume of your voice. So when it is saying the teacher told the student to speak up, here it means, speak up word means the teacher is telling the student to be a little louder, to speak a little louder, because this teacher cannot listen to what the child is saying. So here speak up means to be a little louder. So phrasal verbs, now understand very carefully, phrasal verbs are those words which when written together gives you an entirely different meaning than what the words individually mean. Okay, so those kinds of words are called phrasal verbs. Okay, now class 5, in your book, in your grammar book, Grammar Steps 5, this is your grammar book, right? And on this book, on page number 43, 44 and 45, tables are given which are telling you the different forms of verb. Okay, the base word is given, the base verb is given, and then the past form and the past participle form of the verb is given. You have to go through these tables very carefully and you have to learn these words in order to do the exercises which are in the next few pages of your book. Okay, now let's see this one. I'll just give you an example. Now these words, sometimes what happens, the three forms of verbs are sometimes the same. All three forms of the verbs are same. For example, if you see on this page, cut is the present tense form of the verb. When it comes to past tense, again it is cut, and when it is the past participle form of cut, again it is cut. So there are some verbs who have the same spelling, or who have the same form in all the three tenses: present tense, past tense, and past participle form. Okay, but there are certain words wherein all the three forms are different. First form of verb is something else, second form of verb is something else, and third form of verb is also different. So all three forms of verbs are different. There are certain words whose all three forms are different. Those kinds of verbs are given on this table. Okay, for example, begin, began, begun. Begin is the first form, that is the present form of the verb. Began is the past tense form of the verb, and begun is the past participle form of the verb. Okay, so there are some verbs which have all three forms same, which is given on this table. Then there are certain verbs whose all three forms are different, which is given on in this table. Okay, and then in this table there are few words given whose two forms are same. Either the present tense and the past tense form of the verb are same, or the past tense and past participle form are the same, or the present form and past participle form of are same. Okay, for example, come, came, come. Come is the present form, present tense of the word. Okay, came is the past tense, and then come is the past participle form. So there are certain words whose all three forms are different. There are certain words whose two forms are same. Those two forms can be present past or past and past participle, or present and past participle. Okay, and then there are certain verbs whose all three forms are different. No matter whether you are using it in present tense, then only it will remain the same. If you are using them as a past tense, then also the spelling will remain the same. And if you are using the past participle form of that verb, it will have the same meaning. Okay, so these tables are telling you those words. Okay, so you have to learn these tables very carefully and remember to learn them with spelling. Okay, and then you have to do the book exercises which are given in your book. Exercise number B, C, which is B is the correct form of verb. Okay, you have to use the correct form of verb in exercise B. In exercise C, you have to identify whether the sentence is written in a transitive, whether the sentence has got a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. Transitive verb is followed by an object. Intransitive verb doesn't need an object to make a complete sense. Okay, so B, exercise C is there. And then in exercise number D, you have to identify the direct object and the indirect object. Now you'll say, Mama, ma'am, what is a direct object? Direct object is the object which is written immediately after the verb. Okay, and the indirect object is the person who is going to receive that verb, who is the recipient of that action. So that is the indirect object. Okay, so first example is already given to you. If you read the explanation given here, you can understand the example better, and then you have to follow the remaining parts. Okay, and E part is of phrasal verbs. Phrasal verbs I have just explained to you. Now in this box few phrasal verbs are given. Okay, for example, gave up. Gave up means that you have abandoned something. Okay, and then got out. Got out is to come out of something. Join in means you are asking somebody to join you. Look after, I told you, look after means to take care of oneself or to take care of somebody else. Keep up means to keep up the pace, to continue with whatever you were doing, or like we say, oh, keep up with your work. That means continue with your work. And or another word of keep up is that can you carry along with something? If somebody is doing something, can you keep up with the pace? That means you have to match their pace of walking. Then is hand over. Hand over means to give something to submit something, or to hand over something to someone, to give something to somebody. Speak up, I have already told you. Speak up means to be a little louder. Left out. Left out means to ignore or to ignore someone. Okay, left out means to ignore someone. That is a feeling. Oh, I was feeling left out. That means I felt as if they did not want me to be in their group. So left out here means that feeling of, you know, being ignored. Take off. Take off means to take off, like the plane took off. When we say took off, here take off is the present form of took. So take off means to begin or to, you know, start a journey. Okay, and then ran with means to take something along. Okay, so exercise number E is about the phrasal verbs. Okay, in exercise number 4, you have to use the correct form of the verbs that you have to decide after reading the sentence. Okay, for example, our school team dash theirs. Is it beat or beaten? Okay, so which verb you have to use, that depends upon which tense you want that sentence to be, or in which tense that sentence is written. Okay, and G1 is fill in the blanks with simple past or past participle. Word is given in bracket, and after reading the sentence you have to decide whether the past tense is to be used or the past participle form of the verb is to be used. Okay, and in H1 you have to write, you have to first I'll ask you to underline the verb in the sentence, and then you have to tell whether that verb is a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. Okay, And similarly is the I part. Here also you have to write the transitive verb with correct form, incorrect form. Okay. For example, second one I'm doing, the dog bites. Bites is the present form of present tense of the verb. And when it is say it has dash many people, that means you are talking about the action of biting, which has already happened. It has bitten many people. So bite is the present tense of the verb, and bitten is the past participle form of the verb. Okay. Similarly, third, fourth, and fifth, you have to eating is the main verb, and then you have to use the correct form of the verb. Okay. And in J1, J is use the color code to underline the objects of the verb. You have to use green color to underline direct object and yellow color to underline indirect object. Okay, direct object is always followed by the verb. For example, the baker baked a cake for us. Now, baked is the verb. So what is the direct object? What did the baker see? To find direct object, you have to ask the question what. Okay, so the baker baked what? A cake. So cake is the direct object. And whom did the baker bake the cake for? Who was the recipient of that cake? Who got the cake finally? Us. So us is the indirect object. Okay. So similarly, you have to do the remaining 4 parts. And exercise number K, page number 50. Match the phrasal verbs with their synonyms. One side phrasal verbs are given, and another side what they mean when they are used together. Carry on. What do you mean by carry on? Out of these words, you have to you have to match that these phrasal verbs give you which of these meanings. Okay. And the last one is you have to use the phrasal verbs to complete the sentences. Okay. So do that. If you get confused, again go through the video, and all the best for your homework. Remember to complete your homework and submit it timely.